Jimmy, this is MC Alfred.
All right, so now, everybody, we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show all the way from Thursday what happened, Chad? Okay, all the way from Thursday morning in New Zealand, we have super phenom actor Mr. Jed Brophy. Hello, and welcome to the Jimmy Star Show.
Morning. It's great to be here.
Oh, my God, I love the accent, too, that we actually get to hear. We had another guest a minute ago from New Zealand also, but she's lived in L.A. and she lost her accent, so, I'm happy to hear it. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. It's great to be here.
Let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Nice to meet you. I'm excited. I've got somebody I can interview that I know about. It's wonderful.
Fantastic.
It's really wonderful. I love your work. I know who you are. I've seen you in The Hobbit. And also, I understand that you're doing a new series on, what is it? Not Star Trek.
No. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I read something about him. I don't know what I read now.
Well,
you're
going
to have to correct me that you're doing something new.
I am. I'm doing a new TV series for MTV, but unfortunately, I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
But I think I read about something because I looked you up. And
Yeah.
if it comes to me, I promise.
It was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but I won't tell anybody. If it comes to mind, I won't say it. You know, everything leaks out. I have a lot of friends in the biz and out there, so everybody knows what everybody else is doing. You know the old joke: everybody counts everybody else's money in Hollywood. Look at what happened with what's her name? She quit doing. She was offered a play. That beautiful girl, Jennifer. Anyway, I'm gone with the wind.
He's gone with the wind. Next up.
Subject.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Also, first of all, say hello to Chad. He's our man behind the boards.
Hey, Jed. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Chad, so nice to not meet you.
Yeah, you can't even see him. And we have a chat room full of people, so say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, people in the chat room. Welcome from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Kia ora, kia ora.
Okay.
Haere
That's cool.
Good morning.
Now, answer me a question. How does it feel that people don't know you as you? They only know you as the made-up characters you play. So you could get away with murder. You could go anywhere and not be hounded.
It's fantastic. I love my anonymity, and it's the reason why I give myself the job of being stuck in rubber 24/7. In fact, this is a prosthetic made by Weta that I'm wearing right now.
You're really that monster.
Hey.
See, once in a while, he's not in prosthetics in some of his films. Just not his better-known films, he's in prosthetics. But
True.
I looked up the majors. I mean, he's been in the major. I mean,
he wouldn't have seen District 9 because I love District 9.
No,
and actually, he would like it a lot because of the subject matter.
I probably would. No, I know him from the movies that you mentioned, and those are big, blockbuster, gigantic, I mean, forever film. They're like Gone with the Wind.
So you're basically like kind of what do you call it? Like somehow you're factored in, and you're like a Peter in all the Peter Jackson movies, because like Peter Jackson's one of the biggest directors in the world, and it seems like you're in a lot of his stuff.
Apparently, if I'm not in the movie, it doesn't make any money. So if they put me in the movie will make money. It's as simple as that.
Well,
I love it.
Now we have to add another zero to your salary.
Yeah, well, that would be nice.
Tell him that. Well, you know, Alfred Hitchcock, he had his stable of actors also. Because if you go back to the 1950s TV show, so many of the people that were in his big blockbuster hit movies were from television. And he liked cool blondes, of course, always.
Jimi Hedren.
And he liked tall, handsome, dark-haired men that he always casted. So
I know my favorite person that he always had in his movies was Jimmy Stewart. He was in all of them.
And you do a good Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy was a fabulous. I've never met him. Sad because I was too young, but I would have loved to have met Jimmy Stewart, a brilliant actor. An actor who never acted, he just talked.
So
you look a bit like him.
I look like Jimmy Stewart?
Everybody always tells him he looks like, who do they tell you?
Tony
Curtis he gets a lot.
But
Wow.
Jimmy Stewart's good too. I don't mind.
That's funny because Jimmy Stewart is my real name, but I couldn't trademark it, so I go by Jimmy Star because I couldn't trademark Jimmy Stewart. And so it's like 6 degrees of separation. So before we talk about Hobbit and Peter Jackson stuff, though, I want to talk real quick about District 9 because like I saw it such a long time ago. I don't know if I remember it, but I think I want Ron to hear like kind of like the synopsis because I think he would dig it.
Is it a movie or a TV
show?
Movie.
It's a movie, and it's about.
Okay. It's set in South Africa. set in South Africa when a whole lot of bugs come down from another planet, and they try to be assimilated into South African society. But a bit like apartheid was there in the 80s, they get put in a little camp on their own. And there's a journalist who goes in there, and he gets a gun, and he turns half alien, and then it becomes a kind of a chase movie where they're trying to get this technology back off him, and he's becoming more and more like a bug.
I saw this. Don't tell me. I saw this movie, Jimmy. See, he always talk for me. I saw anything that has to do with aliens, I watch. I'm an alien freak because I believe we are the aliens on this planet.
It's true.
It's true.
Do you know the story behind it? That Neil Blomkamp, the director, was meant to make Halo, the movie here in New Zealand, and when that fell over, he had a short film that he showed Peter and Fran, and they raised the money for him to make this feature. So it was a very, very cheap feature to make, and it made a lot of money.
It was a great movie. It was
one of my favorites is This Planet Earth with Faith DeMorg, and I forgot who the guy was. And that film also cost like $5, and it became a classic. Do you know what I'm talking about? This Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Fabulous science fiction, and and of course Faith DeMorg was so gorgeous. Do you know who she was? Faith DeMorg.
I do.
You know who she is? Yes.
I could have played her. You give me a dress and the right prosthetic, and I could be her.
She was the one that Howard Hughes got pregnant at 16 years old.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
They didn't use it in the film. I think they did. They hinted around it. If you saw Jane Russell was a good buddy of mine for years, and Jane used to give me all the inside dirt on Howard Hughes, and he liked very young girls, 15, 16, 14, and she was 16 and he got her pregnant. So he put Fate in the movie. She's gorgeous brunette, and Jane Russell said that he would punish Jane with Fate. If Jane didn't want to do a movie, he'd stick Fate in and say, I'm going to make Fate bigger than you. So he played Fate against Jane, but never knew that they used to go to Santa Monica to the beach together with the kids. They were the best of girlfriends. So Howard Hughes would try to make them fight. That's what they did back then. Now, do you have any of that stuff in your life?
Yeah, look, if I say I don't want to be in a movie, then Pete says he's going to put Ian McKellen in it, so I just front up and do it. So, yeah. No, we don't.
It's kind of like funny because you kind of look a little bit like Doug Jones also a little bit. Do you know who Doug Jones is? I
do. In fact, he's one of those people that I really admire because of his fantastic work for Guillermo and all of his movies. And he's the prosthetic actor that prosthetic actors go, I want to be Doug Jones.
Oh, he's really cool. I met him at a convention, and then Douglas Tate is another one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm friends with like a lot of the actors who play those like cool roles like you get to play in all these like films. And we've had a bunch of them on the show. It's a lot of fun. You're our first one from New Zealand, though. Actually, you're our first guest ever that's from New Zealand that's actually in New Zealand when we're doing the interview. So it's a cool thing. So we dig that. But you were also in King Kong, right? The remake of King Kong with Jack Black.
Yeah, Pete did a great thing. He got a whole lot of theatre actors from Wellington, and he decided to make them the boat crew so that he could leave them alone to do their own thing, so he could direct the leads. And it was a great time hanging out with Jack Black. It was very funny. It was a very funny shoot.
I like that. So
I'm so surprised that they hire you from New Zealand because it's a heavy-duty airline ticket.
No, they shot it there. They shoot it there.
Oh, shot it there. Oh, that's right. Otherwise, they would not pay for that ticket. Hollywood's so cheap.
Yeah, they paid for my train ticket.
Your train ticket. Did you ever get made up by Smith?
Who?
Smith. Hollywood's,
no.
What was his first name? I don't know. He's the guy that invented all the prosthetics. Not Bob Smith. I met him years ago.
Dick Smith. Smith.
Yeah, Bill
Dick Smith.
Bill Smith. He invented all that stuff, and I met him back in the, I think it was 1980s at Universal. I worked for Universal, and Nick Marcellano was my boss at Universal. I wanted to be a makeup man. No. So I love makeup, and your makeup was always wonderful, and so were the other characters in your films. The makeup was really, really sensational.
I'm going through all the films that I've actually seen, and then we'll talk about because like Dead Alive is a great movie, and I know that's like one of your more first beginning movies, right?
Yeah, that was. I was doing a theatre show with one of the co-writers, Stephen Sinclair, and Peter Jackson actually came backstage and offered me the part. And I have to admit I was a bit reticent. I didn't know much about zombies. But I read the script and thought it was hilarious, and we started filming a couple of days later, and yeah, it still has the Guinness Book of Records for the most blood used in a movie.
Yeah, which is just cool, and that's like the beginning of your career, and look at it helped build that thing with Peter Jackson, and then you got Heavenly Creatures, which I forgot who's in that. The Titanic is in that.
Melanie Linsky, who was in Two and a Half Men. She was the neighbor next door, and Kate Winslet.
Yeah, that's who I thought was in it.
What is Kate like? I've never met her, but I think she's a wonderful actress.
She is the most lovely person. She's one of those really down to earth people who just happens to be brilliant at what she does.
Mm-hmm. Natural actress. Her lines are a reality. They're not lines when she speaks.
Yeah, that's right.
She's a fabulous actress. I like her a lot.
So then we move on, and we have The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I want to talk about The Hobbit real quick, because first of all, and you probably know because you have it, but you have your own Lego action figure.
Yeah, I know. The greatest thing in the world is because I have two boys, and growing up on rainy days, Lego was what they kind of lived with. And you kind of know that you've made it when you get your own Lego figure, because it's there forever, and all kids are going to play with it. They're going to put a different head on you. You've made it really.
I just bought it on eBay last night, so it's coming to the house because lately we've been having a lot of great guests who have their own action figures, and like I'm buying like the action figure. We had what's his name? Stephen
Lang.
We had Stephen Lang from Avatar. He's the bad guy. So I got his action figure, and we have John Barrowman from Doctor Who and our Arrow, which is a popular show here in America, and I just got his action figures, and I just ordered your Lego figure. We need to get you do you have an action?
Wait, we spoke of Richard Anderson. We have
and I have Richard Anderson
from the
Bionic Man. I have he was Oscar Goldman. I have that action. Right. So like do you have a Nori besides Lego? Because I know they have cutouts of you. They have everything. Do you have a Nori actual action figure too?
Yeah, you have to go to the weta.co.nz site. So WETA. .com actually, it's .com. Go to their site and you can get the Lego the Nori bust, which is it's about this size. It's a 10-inch figure of Nori about to bash someone with his big stick.
I love it. I think that to me that's like the coolest thing ever. Like I totally one day before I die want an action figure.
Yeah, but you do it in ballet slippers and a tutu.
We can get Weta to make one of you guys. I'm sure. I'll have a talk to Richard Taylor and see what I can work out.
I love it. Right. I think that's the coolest thing.
Like a Laurel and Hardy type.
So let's talk about The Hobbit a little bit.
Look at the makeup on him. Just let's talk about makeup because this is so fascinating. Years ago in early Hollywood, the makeup was so terrible that the characters really didn't come across as what they wanted to. Makeup, I was taught, is half of the actor's work. If the makeup is beautiful, the actor works less. Am I correct?
That's very true. We were very lucky that the makeup, the people who made the makeup and the people who applied it went on to win Oscars for their work. And Gino Asadeva, who's was born in Arizona but now lives in New Zealand, he designed the makeups that I wore on Lord of the Rings, and he works at Weta Digital now. But in terms of the coloration and the way that it looks and the silicone that they use, those guys are incredible. And yeah, it is half the job is done by the makeup and then the other half is done by us. But if the makeup looks great, you as an actor don't have to do much. You can be much more subtle.
Absolutely.
And we were very, very, very lucky that the makeup artists, we had an individual wig person and an individual prosthetic person.
Mm-hmm.
And they're as important as we are on the film, that's for sure.
Well, because when you're in that costume, you are the person. And it's so easy to act the character because, like, in other words, if you're a person nude, a naked person acting has to really work hard because there's nothing there. There's not a prop that they could use except you know what, and then it would be a porno film. So that's not what we're talking about. But the minute you're dressed, and your character, let me tell you, is one of my favorites. You and the old guy with all the bushy hair, what was his name? The one that was in Peter Potter. No, Peter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. What's his name?
Oh, yeah. Michael Gambon.
Right. I loved his dressed up character. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but he's not talking about Michael Gambon. He's talking about the guy who played Dumbledore. Wasn't that guy in Harry Potter?
Oh, Richard Harris.
Yeah, Richard Harris. That's who he's
Harris.
Talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Loved his work, and his costume was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have a question though, because like when you're in The Hobbit and you're playing a Hobbit,
A dwarf.
A dwarf. Yeah, I don't know what I don't want to be politically incorrect. So you're playing a dwarf. Like, how do they do that? Because you look sitting there, you look like you're about 6 feet tall.
They had these fat suits that made our shoulders kind of come out 6 inches on either side. They had a big headpiece that made our head look bigger. The trousers were kind of baggy, so they made our legs look shorter. And then when we were working with Ian McKellen, they had a guy who was 7'2". So when they shot from behind, he looked a lot taller than us.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, and when we were working with Ian, the real Ian McKellen, he was up on a plinth that was a good maybe 2.5, 3 feet off the ground. So he could walk between us and make it look like he was a lot taller.
Years ago, the movie with Sophia Loren and Alan Ladd, The Boy and a Dolphin. Alan Ladd was all of 5'2". Sophia Loren is 5'8". So even in bare feet, they couldn't do it. What they did was they dug a trench along where Sophia would walk. As they were walking, of course, the camera didn't shoot their feet, and there you'd see Sophia and Alan Ladd the same size, and she's walking absolutely in a trench. Did you know that?
No.
So Hollywood's very clever.
It is.
So out of all the Hobbit movies, because there's an unexpected journey, the desolation of Smaug, and the Battle of the Five Armies, like which one did you like the best?
I think I like the middle one because of the barrel ride. We did all this great stuff in these barrels in a river, and then they built us a fake river, which was like a Warner Brothers ride, you know, at one of those game theme parks. A lot of the time we were very hot in our costumes, 3 layers of wool in these big fat suits. So being in the water in a wetsuit was fantastic. And I think that's where the action really kicks off, and we're just on the run from that point onwards. So it becomes a chase movie where we're just trying to stay alive. So for me, that's my favourite movie. But I think my favourite scene is the very first day in Bag End, on set with Martin Freeman playing Bilbo, Ian McKellen as Gandalf. And we knew that we were actually in the film because we were on Bag End and we were shooting. So that was a huge thrill.
I think that's just like, it's super cool. And like every time, I don't know which, because I don't know the names. I think it's the Battle of the Five Armies, which is the one that has the big dragon with all the gold coins.
Oh,
that's the Desolation of Smaug.
Okay, that's the one you like then. Okay, that's
okay. My favorite.
Every time we go to Best Buy, literally every time, I don't know if you know what Best Buy is, like a big chain of stores that sells electronics. It's in America, and every time you go where they're selling their big screen TVs, when they're big entertainment systems, that movie is playing. It doesn't matter, like every day, no matter when you go there, and we sit there and watch that scene like we've seen it like 50 times.
That's my favorite movie. Listen, now you're not from New York, you're not from Los Angeles. How the hell did you get started in your country, which is not a film country, or at least not known for film?
Yeah, look, I was very lucky when I came out of drama school in 1987. It was mainly theatre and a little bit of TV. But Peter Jackson was always going to build a studio there. He always had this idea that he was going to be a filmmaker. And I was just very lucky that when he started making films, there was a group of us around, young people who wanted to work in film. And you know, there's a lot of luck in our industry. I was the right place, the right time, and the right person to work with him. And he did that. He said, if you build it, they will come. That great quote from Fields of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. He built a studio, and Hollywood started coming to us. He invited them over, and they generously gave him money. And he started making movies that made them money and created this whole fabric of fantasy. And now we have a studio that's the envy of the world over. We have James Cameron out here. He lives in New Zealand now. He's going to shoot the next 2 Avatars here, and whatever Pete shoots next. So we did the Tintin reshoots here for Steven Spielberg. So we've created an industry here that means that we can actually invite people to our country and they can shoot at the very highest level. So it's really down to him backing himself.
And of course, it's no tax.
That's right. We have a huge tax break.
So that's very inviting. Yes. So Stephen Lang is going to have to go to your country to film Avatar because he's in they're doing 3, by the way, and he said he's going to be in all 3, which means that's a damn good contract because I want this for number 2, and I definitely want that for number 3, or kill me in number 2. You're stuck. I really mean Hollywood is really very cheap. The moguls want to make the millions, and the actors get, scale. You know what it's all about. So I think that some actors make too much money. Like Angelina Jolie for Maleficent, $25 million was a lot of money. And I think Angie, was kind of smiling all the way home that day from work. But
we couldn't do that here. I think that we're more of an egalitarian society where the crew and the cast aren't that far removed from each other in terms of what they get. But I grew up on a sheep farm, so good day's work, good day's pay. I don't expect a lot of chips at the end of it, a lot of no topping. I'm happy to have a house and feed my children and do my job.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it pays more than that, but I would like to get paid on this show. We were just talking about it. Jimmy doesn't pay me. I do it for the love of Jimmy. But
well, fair enough. I mean, why not?
There you go.
Well, we
have 2 million listeners a week. There's 2 million people listening to you.
And also, we're a married couple. We're legally married. We were married in New York, so that makes me his other half, and therefore bound by marriage to do stuff.
So,
good on you.
So then you also have the Lord of the Rings films. And, so which one is your favorite one that you got? Because you play different characters in the Lord of the Rings films, right?
Yeah, I play like 7 different characters over 3 films. I think my favorite one is the Two Towers. I play 4 different speaking characters in that.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that? Like, do you have action figures for all those characters too?
I have 3 action figures. One of the Black Riders, Schnager, who's the one who goes, why can't we?
Right. I love that.
They're fresh. Right. And then Shaku, who beats up Aragorn when Aragorn goes over the cliff, the leader of the Warg Riders. So I have 3 action figures. Yeah.
That is cool. Do you keep all? Do you have did you buy all your action figures so you would have them?
I bought them for my kids. Unfortunately, 2 of them don't have heads at the moment. Their heads got cut off in battles, so I have to glue them back on or get Weta to make me some more.
Actually, I think I read in your bio that your kids were in The Hobbit also.
In the Lord of the Rings, my oldest son, who's 23, he was in the first one. He was one of the Hobbit children who's at the party scene, and then he was Dominic Monaghan's scale double. So when they wanted someone to look smaller than Dominic, they had a bunch of kids. And then my youngest son was Aragorn and Arwen's future son in The Return of the King. So the little prince that you see.
Okay, that's
what's really wonderful about these films, and I want our listeners and our viewers to hear. They are now considered. I forgot the word. Jesus Christ, I'm getting so old, it's pathetic. Oh, this is terrible. This happens all the time. Do you ever have these, like they call it burps?
I do.
It's called, what? It's called, my God.
What? They're legacy films?
No. They're called, oh, this is dreadful. I'm having a stroke on the air. I can't believe
it. They're seen as being heritage films in our country.
These films are now called literature.
That's because they're based.
Oh yeah.
No, I want our listeners to know they're not just scripts; they're called literature, which means that they have a great deal.
I had to read The Hobbit when I was in high school, or junior high school, or high school, or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, they didn't have it in my day.
Okay, maybe on your day, but we had it in our day. So
so
let's. Do you like the superhero films?
I do. I love the superhero films. I'm a huge fan of Wolverine. I love the Avengers. Yeah, I got to meet Mr. Singer when he was out. He came to our premiere actually, and I did say to him, "I'd be great in one of your films."
Okay.
I left it at that. I didn't want to be pushy. I just said I think I'd be great in one of your films.
So if you were going to be a superhero, would you want to be Wolverine, or who would you like to be?
Man, I would love to be Wolverine, but it's going to be very good. I'm a lot shorter than Hugh Jackman. I'm not quite as buff as Hugh Jackman, so be like Wolverine. Lost part of his own body somewhere in between, like when he was transporting somewhere, he lost all of his body weight. Who knows?
That's why it's nice to be the Penguin, because you can eat all you want.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And have a belly. You don't care if you're the Penguin. But it's interesting, your business is very interesting. I'm an actor also, and I've never done anything like you're doing. They basically, cast me as a mafia killer, that kind of jazz. I don't know why, but that's what they always cast me as. I was a priest once, but I was a priest that turned out to be a killer. So, a murderer. An old TV thing.
You do have that hardness about you that I would be...
have that, like I'm a killer, like everybody's going to think I'm going to pull out a gun and shoot them. That's terrible. I always wanted to be Cary Grant. I turned out to be James Cagney.
Hey, look, Cary Grant's my favorite actor of that generation.
I love him.
Me
He's
too.
The best in the world. Everybody wanted to be Cary Grant when I grew up. Like I said, I'm turned out to be James Cagney.
North by Northwest, right?
All of his films are wonderful.
Do you like North by Northwest?
I love it. I love To Catch a Thief as well.
To Catch a Thief is my absolute favorite. That's my Cary Grant the best because of all his ad libs. Not many people know that, but Cary was a great ad libber. And I don't remember the ad libs in the film now, but I remember them when the film came out, and they were priceless. And nobody ever dared reshoot it. They said, leave it in, he's good. Also, when he did In the Fair to Remember with Deborah Carr, the scene where she's on the sofa and he's looking at her and he said, I was thinking the other day, and then he kept saying, I think a lot nowadays, and that was not in the script, but the way he did it was so honest and beautiful that it made that love scene just happen. So sometimes actors, I'm sure you agree with me, have to do it. You've got to say to the script people and to the director, listen, it's not playing. How about we do it this way? Have you done that?
In District 9, I did a whole day of monologues actually, and they just used this one little snippet. But that line I do about them being prawns is a total throwaway line. It was just, I made it up on the spot, and it ended up being in the movie. So sometimes you have this kind of brain explosion, you have this idea, and you do it, and the director likes it, and it ends up being up there forever.
That's because I firmly believe no one knows the character as well as the actor. The actor knows that character. The writer has an idea. The director has an idea. But the actor knows that character well, and he knows what that character would do. And that's why a good director listens to the actor and lets the actor play a little bit because it makes it better.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
So do you agree with that?
I do. I totally agree. I think there has to be a symbiosis between the actor and director. I think you have to get along. And there has to be a meeting halfway of how the director sees the scene and how the actor wants to play the scene. Peter Jackson has a great quote. He just says, don't tell me, show me.
Yeah. Well, Alfred Hitchcock used to tell them, act. And they'd act. He never directed. People don't know that. He never directed them. He just said, well, you're here now, act.
So we only have a couple of minutes. So next week in America is Halloween. Do you guys celebrate Halloween in New Zealand?
We do, and in fact, I have a new movie called The Dead Room, which opens here on the 27th for Halloween. And
congratulations!
It's going to be opening in the States later on. It's slated for the South by Southwest and the Tribeca Festival. It's been picked up by XYZ Films and Ramble Entertainment, so it's got a release in the UK and the States later on in the year. But we've made it specially for Halloween. We had nothing to do, had a bit of stuff lying around, so we thought we'd make this ghost movie for Halloween.
That's cool. I like it. What's it called again?
It's called The Dead Room, and it's
it'll hit like America's Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white $65,000 film. They threw it together. They had no idea what the hell they were doing, and today it's become the film of films.
It's become huge.
All the zombie stuff.
Yeah, I got to meet George Romero actually at a convention overseas, and we talked about zombie movies and how they've kind of taken over. And now
we've had him on the show.
Yeah, he's been a guest of ours.
Yeah. And the guys who made Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, we've talked about that.
Simon Pegg. I think
and Peter Jackson, of course, with Dead Alive or Brain Dead, it was called here. I think zombies have taken over. In fact, I think there might be some outside actually trying to get us out.
Have you ever seen The Night of the Living Dead, the 1962, I think, black and white?
I have. I'm a huge fan of those films.
That film scared me. That one.
Yeah, me too.
It was really, especially back then, nobody ever did such a film.
So what's your favorite horror movie?
I think for me it's the original Omen movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That was scary.
I find that particularly scary. I don't know why.
I like the first one too. Okay, so what about one more question because we got 2 minutes. What's a big horror movie that came out of New Zealand that's popular in the States?
The Frighteners.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. It was a movie I wasn't available for actually. Probably the only one I wasn't.
But Jake Busey? I think Jake Busey's in that.
Jake Busey's in that. Yeah. Well, Jake Busey's brother. Yeah. Yeah, and it was kind of the special effects that Weta Digital came up with were really groundbreaking. It's a very, very good and funny but scary movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I like that.
Well,
I'm
going to research the studio you talked about because I'm really stupid about it. I had no idea there was such a studio in New Zealand.
Yeah. What's the name of the studio again?
It's Wingnut Films.
Wingnut Films.
Well,
okay.
Wingnut Films.
We're gonna look
because, Jimmy's a producer. Jimmy does some producing films. We may want to produce a film in New Zealand.
Yeah, that would be
fun.
And
if we need you, we're calling you. And if you say no, you get smacked by me.
Yeah, I'm available for you guys. I'll put myself on hold for you guys only.
All right. If not, I'll take out my gun like a mafia and shoot you.
So here's
what. Hang on.
I'm not quite. Hey, everybody, this is Jed Brophy. You want to follow him on Twitter? It's at BrophyJed. Just reimbursed it. He's also got a fan club Twitter account that somebody runs called Jed Brophy Army, I think. Is that it?
That's right. Yeah, they're crazy people.
Follow at Jed Brophy Army. Follow at BrophyJed. And we want to wish you all the luck with the new film, The Dead Room. Congratulations on such a fantastic career, and we want to thank you for getting up this morning and coming on the Jimmy Star Show all the way from New Zealand.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been my pleasure.
Well, it's been a pleasure for me interviewing somebody that I was able to, that wasn't 12 years old.
Thanks, Jed. Have a happy Halloween.
And see you.
Thank you. You guys as well. Don't be too scared now.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
What a nice man.
Freaking awesome. Awesome. All right, everybody. Everybody got to watch
see how nice the interview went? Because he's not 12.
Yeah, also, everybody, we got to watch District 9 again. I want to see District 9 with the aliens because I haven't seen it in a long time. I think it's, like, super cool.
Any film with aliens is fabulous.
And we got to watch The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit from the beginning. So, Chad, what'd you think? Pretty cool, right?
Very cool. Another great show, you two.
Absolutely.
But